I'm going to do a review today of the Revlon Colorstay Full Cover Foundation. This says it lasts 24 hours and it's matte, and I got the shade 210 Sand Beige. I saw this at my local CVS just a couple days ago and I grabbed it because it said it was brand new, and they had a primer and a new mascara and some new eyeliners, so I'll try and put some pictures in of them so you can see what they look like. But this was the only thing I purchased that day. I'll probably go back and get more later. But I tried to look up and see if anybody had reviewed this, and there was like nothing online. There's not even anything on Revlon's website about this foundation. So I'm like, did my CVS get this early and then they put it out and they weren't supposed to put it out yet? I don't know. So I had nothing to go on, so I just went ahead and bought it. It was like $14-ish, which is a little pricey for the drugstore. It's kind of on par with what Revlon sells their stuff for. I think CVS kind of marks up their prices a little bit because they have a lot of coupon things that you can do there. So I ended up getting it for quite a bit cheaper than $14, but when there's like Wet n Wild Photo Focus that's so much cheaper, it makes you think, do you really need a foundation from the drugstore that's like $14.99? So that's what I'm here to show you. So the back of the package says Revlon Colorstay Full Cover. Full coverage foundation, up to 24-hour wear. No caking or fading, lightweight, blends seamlessly. That's literally all it says. I will go ahead and tell you, I wore this yesterday just that way I could see how it performed a couple of hours during the day. That way I wasn't just going into this as a first impressions. I could tell you what I really thought about it. This reminds me texture-wise very much of this Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation. Even the packaging is very similar. They have a very similar texture to them, but I much prefer this Revlon one. So if you like the Maybelline Dream Matte one, you'll probably really love this one because they're very similar texture-wise, but this provides much better coverage in my opinion. I used a sponge to put it on yesterday and I thought it did really good. So I'm just gonna squeeze it out onto the sponge, that way you can see the kind of texture it has. So it's very firm, not liquidy like a lot of foundations are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start dabbing that on. And I used a sponge when I put this on yesterday. I thought about using a brush, but I've used a brush with that Maybelline or the Dream Velvet, and I didn't think it went on as well with the brush, so I'm just gonna stick with the sponge because I know it does a very good job. So as much as I put on the sponge, this is what it looks like on my skin. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of like pink showing through on my cheeks. So in my opinion, it's not full coverage when you first apply it. I'm gonna put some more on my sponge. I think in order to get full coverage, you do have to use quite a bit of product in order to achieve that, but I do think you can achieve it, and quite frankly, I think it looks nicer on the skin than a lot of other drugstore options that are out there that claim to be full coverage right now. Yesterday when I put this on, I noticed that the lines on my forehead were infinitely less visible after I set my foundation. I mean, they're still there. They're not going anywhere. There's no foundation that's gonna get rid of my forehead wrinkles. But I do really think that this foundation in particular does not settle into those. What I will say is I noticed yesterday, I set my face, I put on concealer, I set my face, and I did notice on my chin area, it started breaking up. Literally nowhere else on my face. And I set my chin with powder just like I did everywhere else. But only on my chin, I saw it kind of separating. So I wonder if maybe that was the primer's fault. I'll keep an eye on it today and let you know how it does today. And if you notice, this color is very nice and it doesn't oxidize at all, if you're worried about that. They had other Revlon foundations there in the store, and they are actually named and numbered the exact same as this foundation is. So I just went over and kind of looked at them to see which one would compare. But I think that these run a little bit lighter. So anyways, if you wear another Revlon foundation, I think that all the colors are very similar, but I would go up one number for this new foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead off camera and put on my concealer and powder my face, and I'll come back and I'll tell you my final thoughts. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and did the rest of my makeup off camera because this is really just a review of this Revlon foundation. Once I powdered it, I did contour, I did bronzing, blush, highlighter, everything like that. Everything goes on top of this foundation very, very nicely. So in this package, you get 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty standard for all the different foundations you can get these days. That's pretty much what you're gonna get all the time. So I guess it's kind of weighing the pros and cons. Do you wanna pay like $14? I'm not sure how much it's gonna be everywhere else because I've only seen this at CVS. Revlon doesn't even have it on their website yet today. Just knowing that at CVS it's like $14, I do recommend it. So if I were you and you were interested in trying this, I'd get it at CVS. If you hate it, you can take it back and get your money back. So if I were you, I would definitely look into it if it's something that interests you. If you think that the benefits that I have told you about are things that you would be interested in, I would just recommend using your favorite primer. I did wear a primer yesterday. I wore a primer today underneath it. I think that that's gonna help it last longer. I think that yesterday when the foundation was breaking up on my chin, I probably missed putting primer on my chin, and that's probably why it happened. So today I made sure to put primer down, and then I just set it, and I really do think that this is not full coverage like it claims. I think it's very high medium coverage or very low full coverage, but I still really highly recommend it. Oh, a lot of foundations sit on my nose really badly. Like when I try to put it on my nose, it almost immediately just like wipes away. This foundation stayed on my nose very well, which is kind of unusual. So if that's another problem you're having, this is a good foundation for that, because there are a lot of foundations that I will put on and they just like wipe right off of my nose. Anyways, those are my final thoughts. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them if you leave them down below. Like I say, the only information I have is what is on this package right now. I will put some pictures up of the other new items I saw at the store, and hopefully I'll do a review on them sometime soon. If you like this video, if you like this style of review that I did where I focus just on the foundation, just be sure and let me know down in the comments. And if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see when I upload the next one. Thank you so much for watching.